happened this past Saturday, and oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Overall, great event. Overall, had some spectacular finishes. Overall, I'd say a big W for UFC fans. All of us, I would say, enjoyed that card overall until we got to the main event. Now, I will be going through the entire card, breaking down what I thought about the results, and just giving my takes on what happened this past Saturday. And I have to say, overall, like before the card, I'd give it like a solid 7.5 out of 10 out of like stacked and like name value on the card. But with the performance and everything, I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10, close to a 9. The prelims were a little slow in spots, so that's why I'm leaning towards an 8.5. But man, that main card was really great, except the main event really dragged it down. So let's go ahead and just get right into it and talk about the main event. I'm gonna start by saying my picks were horrible this card. I got a crafty vet pick. I did get that knocked down and nailed that one, but yeah, this one I did not nail at all. Khamzat Chimaev has decent cardio. Khamzat Chimaev realized that he can just impose a wrestling will on his opponents and do minimal damage to win. This fight was super boring. Very impressive performance nonetheless. Khamzat just absolutely ragdolled Dricus. DDP had no guard game. Khamzat never allowed himself to be in Dricus' full guard to begin with. And it just seemed like it seemed like he didn't train being on his back whatsoever. Or maybe Khamzat is that good, but also I was shocked. I was like, okay, Khamzat's dominating him. But I was shocked with how little effectiveness Dricus was able, and little success he was able to have getting back up to his feet. It was very disappointing. That last round, he had there was a couple exciting moments there when the boy stood up and was, yeah, Dricus, let's get him out of there. But yeah, Khamzat just absolutely mauled him. It was so boring, though. I mean, super impressive. But I mean, it just sucks. Because, I mean, to be fair, that was Khamzat's first boring fight in all reality. But with him knowing he can fight like this, it's looking like there's a chance middleweight championship fights are no longer combat sports. It's yeah. I don't understand. This is a combat sport. Khamzat, in most of it, he was riding him against the fence with a body lock and kneeing him to the thigh. And he obviously won, obviously dominated him, obviously imposed his will, but his will was so boring. It was just not. It just makes me sad for the future of the sport. And when we get more guys like this in the sport, a lot of them have turned out better than I thought. Islam's exciting to watch. Marab, especially his championship fights of recently, especially the Umar fight and his finish against Sean in the second fight. Those were entertaining fights, but man, it just sucked to see when you had a guy like DDP as your champ. And he was so exciting, so fun to watch. You never knew what you were going to see in a DDP fight with just his style and his very unorthodox way of fighting. But I just hope this is a one-and-done thing with Khamzat and that we don't see any more fights like that. Because that just sucks. I mean, I don't know who beats him. We'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. I will be making a next fights to make video. Nevertheless, Khamzat absolutely ragsdolled Dricus, made Dricus look dumb, made DDP look like he had no grappling whatsoever. I was really sad. I'm a Dricus fan for sure. I don't hate Khamzat or nothing, but because the cool thing about Khamzat is even with his crazy good wrestling that he has, he always put on entertaining fights, always has had entertaining build-ups, but I'm just gonna be so sad if we see him in his next title defense. Another like, I'm gonna smash you, I'm gonna kill you in the octagon, and whatever he says, and he does this again. Cause those little pepper and little pause. Those shots aren't killing anybody, and he was most besides Gilbert and Kamaru, he really was killing everybody in there. But man, I was impressed, of course, but not entertained. I was just like, yeah, he's beating him. And he wasn't even like beating him up. He was just beating him positionally. And it was very impressive. Don't get me wrong, but oh, go watch kickboxing, go watch boxing, go watch Muay Thai. Dude, give me a break. Like, that's not even mix it up. He wasn't mixing the martial arts up. And that's what's so cool about this sport, because most of the fights were mixing the martial arts up. Even in like striking battles, a lot of the times, like just like mixing in elbows and just different hit placements or actually shooting shots. This was, I mean, and credit to Khamzat. I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do to win, but that's all he did. And he had so many opportunities to finish the fight as well. Didn't advance positionally for submissions, not once, which was strange because I was thinking about it after I made my video last week. I was like, man, we haven't seen much of Dricus's jiu-jitsu. And that started to worry me, but his wrestling was just not up to snuff. We'll say that. But yeah, Khamzat, usually in the main events we talk about a lot, but what is there to talk about? Khamzat held Dricus down on his back and held him up against the fence and peppered him with little, snowball shots and imposed his will against him, made Dricus look dumb. It just looked like Dricus didn't even belong in the cage with a guy like Khamzat, and that just made me really sad to see. Impressive performance by Boers, but what are you doing? I don't know what my cat's doing. But, I keep trying to think of more things to talk about, but I'm guessing if you watch these videos, you probably watched the fights, and I don't know what else to say. That stat line is insane. Do they have the significant? Yeah. Out of 529 strikes, you landed 37 significant. And that's being generous. I'll leave it at that. If you want to pretend you're a hardcore and say that was entertaining or something, you just don't like the sport that much, and you watch it. You only watch and talk about the sport for online discourse, and you're a little incel with no job probably if you find that fight entertaining, because this is not helping or building the sport in any capacity. And I will rue the day that we get more fighters who fight like that all the time. To be fair, that's the first fight Khamzat has had like that. So I'm hoping this is a one-and-done thing, and if it is, that's great. And if this is what he had to do to win this one fight, that's great. But he had so many chances. I mean, open up with the elbows. You got the guy in crucifix like 6+ times. Drop a bow. Because, of course, I'd be upset if DDP lost either way. Big DDP fan. But if he would have finished him and actually competed in a combat sports match that night, I'd have nothing bad to say about Khamzat. But the fact that the way he executed perfectly, but, and it was such a big spot to build your name and become even a bigger superstar than you already are, Khamzat, but you decided not to do that whatsoever. And he's not going to lose any fans because all his fans are his fans for y'all know why they're fans. They all look alike. And yeah, I mean, I don't hate them or nothing, but that's why they're fans. They don't even like the sport. They just like because there's a few guys who look like them in the sport. But let's just go ahead and move on. Get off this negative note, guys. I'm sick of it. Lerone Murphy absolutely decapitates Aaron Pico in the co-main event. What did I say? He'd make him look stupid. That's exactly what he made him do. Aaron Pico honestly came out there guns a-blazing, which was cool. Fun fight style, like I said. But man, I mean, that wasn't even just like I'm going to throw a spinning back elbow and see if it lands. Dude, that was so calculated and perfect. That was so big for Lerone's stock, man. Because he was mainly a decision fighter, except for that Marcon Akawani finish he had early in his career. But man, that really bumps up Lerone's stock, and we will for sure talk about that tomorrow with who I match him up with. But it was so, like, just to calculate, like, to see him coming in and, Aaron not moving his head off center line whatsoever and just tracking his feet and planting and throwing that quick spinning elbow like that. Man, that was so impressive and nasty. It was so awesome. I honestly think it was better than the Prates spinning back elbow knockout. But yeah, Aaron Pico, Bellator boy, goes out there and gets decapitated by a guy in Lerone who, to be honest, I've been underestimating. But man, I watched his fights a lot building up to this fight week. And man, he is good. He is really good. And I'm interested to see what a guy like that can do against Volk, especially an older Volk. I'm a big Volk fan, but that's an interesting fight, especially with his style, his calculated striking, and strong hips and takedown defense. And a quick finish. Not much to say except I don't got to give away $10. I think I said that if he'd win. Nobody commented though, because I don't really get too many people watching these. But hey, I was totally right though. I was right about a couple, and I was right about this one. Lerone made him look silly. Absolutely, I mean, sent him to the shadow realm. It was just so awesome to see. Pico's hands are good, but his defensive maneuvering's horrible. His footwork is very stationary. And I think he'll be a fun fighter, hovering right there at the top 25, top 15 range in the featherweight division. Maybe he can break into the top 10 at some point. I think he's like 31. But yeah, fun fighter, looked good coming out, but Lerone just put it on him with that elbow, man. And yeah, it was just phenomenal. Phenomenal win by Lerone. Very happy for him. That made me a fan, especially after rewatching some of his fights. He is really good. Just didn't have most of his wins weren't the most entertaining, but this was a big deal for him. Great job capitalizing on this co-main event and making a statement out there and putting your name in there for title contention. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. Moving on. Jeff Neal and Carlos Prates. Absolute fun one-round fight. Jeff Neal was landing. He was cracking him there, but he just moved so straight forward and so straight backwards that Prates, the way once he started just floating around there and jiving and getting in that flow, dude. Because honestly, like 2.5 minutes, like the first half of that first round, I was like, Jeff Neal is edging this first round out. However, Prates just kind of found his distance and range there towards the end. And I was like those last few combinations where he had Jeff Neal on that back foot, I was like, okay, Prates is winning this round, and it's going to be a rough next 2 rounds for Jeff Neal. But out of nowhere, boom, pops that spinning back elbow, sounded like a baseball bat, to quote Joe Rogan. Wow, those calf kicks, man. His leg kicks were very damaging. I maybe it was the drinks. I did rewatch them though, but it really did seem to slow Jeff Neal down, those low calf kicks that Prates threw early in the fight. And oh my, dude, that buzzer beater, just walk-off spinning elbow as the clock's running out. Absolutely beautiful fight. It was super fun to watch in those 5 minutes. Carlos Prates looks dangerous, man. I don't know how Ian Gary beat this man. Ian Gary is very good, but I am a big Ian Gary hater, the cuck himself. But Carlos Prates looked fantastic. I'm pretty confident that he will be on that Brazil card coming up, the Oliveira Fiziev card. We'll talk about that tomorrow and who I think he should fight on that card. But yeah, Prates looked phenomenal. Jeff Neal looked pretty good coming out, but man, if he just had a little bit more of dynamic footwork, he'd be really good. Jeff Neal's a good fighter, and I was so happy to see Prates put him out like that and make it not a close fight. It was kind of close, so it was like that first 2.5 minutes, but after that, Prates just looked in the zone and was able to take him out. It was so sick. I wonder how many cigarettes he smoked after that, but it was a great fight, great finish. And I'm excited for the future of Prates, man. I'm really hoping this guy at some point gets into the welterweight title picture. And I think he has the skills to do it. If he just makes a couple of small adjustments, I really think he beats guys like Ian Gary. And one thing we do have to think about, though, is his takedown defense. That's going to be a big thing, especially in this welterweight division and how it stacks up at the top right now. But 10 out of 10 performance for Prates. Looked beautiful on the feet, managing distance, and how he was setting him up. That Muay Thai style of moving your opponent's hand. Moving your opponent's hand. It was just great to see, and I'm a big Prates fan, so that was awesome. Moving on. I was wrong on this. I thought that third round that the third round game plan Cannonier implemented against MVP was going to be the whole fight. It wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't. MVP pretty much threw quick 1-2s down the pipe and emoted. That's his game plan in like every fight now. He just throws some super quick 1-2s and emotes on his opponents. And he won a 29-28 decision. Somewhat of a fun fight. Third round, kind of boring. MVP was for sure just holding on for the win there on the bottom position. And I just wish he would throw more output. I mean, Jared was cutting off the cage good at some points, but just refused to throw. And that's what lost him the fight. MVP, I mean, he really didn't even land that many strikes. But he just dropped him in both rounds. And honestly, I wonder what would have happened if he wouldn't have tripped throwing that Superman punch. That's what got him. That's what got Cannonier on top of MVP. And I think it would have been super. I would have liked to see how that third round went with MVP staying on the feet because he was defending takedowns well. He really was doing well in the clinch and having his back against the cage and working out of those positions. Even with a big guy like Cannonier at middleweight, MVP needs to stay at middleweight. He's so much faster than these guys. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. But impressive performance by MVP, especially being able to disengage in those grappling situations and keep it on the feet. Love watching him do a little hesitation crossover. He threw just 1-2s and like a couple of uppercuts. And I don't even think they landed. That's all he did, and it worked, man. Fun to watch MVP win as always. Moving on. Now I called this. I said Kai did not have the grappling pedigree to be able to defend shots by Tim Elliott. And Kai was doing good in that first round, was kind of wearing down towards the end of that first, and he just would never plant his feet and let his hands go against a guy like Tim Elliott, and that's exactly what he should have done, and probably would have got him out of the first round if he did that. But, crafty vet performance and a crafty vet pick by you, boy. I'm not counting my win-loss on this one. Y'all can do that if y'all haven't. I'm upset with how I predicted this fight card. But Tim Elliott gets it done by guillotine in the second round. Just how he set that up and how easy it was for him to move into position to take that guillotine, take that neck, and, it was very crafty, very smooth, very crafty, very smooth. I enjoyed watching it. I like Tim Elliott for some odd reason. I think he's just a funny guy. Like he looks homeless all week during fight, and then he gets fresh fade. He'll get that fresh fade right before the fight, man. Another fraud check for a guy coming from another promotion. Can't believe this is so bad for the Pantoja legacy. This is one of his title defenses against a guy who lost to Tim Elliott in his second fight in the UFC. But beautiful finish, beautiful grappling by Tim Elliott. So unorthodox on the feet. Landed some solid strikes there on the feet. Kai was for sure winning those exchanges for the most part, but he just wouldn't go for it. He was just in and out. Way too calculated against a guy like Elliott. And he got put on his back and immediately transitioned into a beautiful mounted guillotine. And I thought that was even impressive, getting a mounted guillotine like that in the second round when they're a little more sweaty, a little more loose, a little more slippery. So, shout out Tim Elliott for at least locking down one good pick for me. But beautiful finish, beautiful performance. Good to see crafty old vet win like that. Moving on to the prelims. I hate trying to say these guys' names. Baisangir Sakurai, I can't say his name. That one's really hard. I'm usually not bad at them, but that one's hard to say. On 4 days' notice, Eric Nolan also on 4 days' notice, but the Russian, I can't say his name, fought 4 days prior. He really thought he was going to go in there and run through a smaller opponent like Nolan. And Nolan was just able in that first round a lot of times just to kind of plant his feet and wing a nice big hook and land a few times. And I was pulling hard for him. I just thought it'd be funny if he went out there and won. Them trying to make a Khamzat clone, the UFC and such. But good performance, good sub. Um, he is a good skilled fighter, but I don't think this is a top 15 guy. But maybe he'll prove us wrong. It was, 4 days notice and such. Cringy fighter, though, trying to get the chance going and all that, and nobody can say your name there. So, but yeah, they're going to give Eric Nolan another shot in the UFC. He deserves it, especially taking up a fight like this on short notice. And he's not too bad. He did all right in a couple of those grappling exchanges, but Sarkayev was able to tie him up there in the end. And it was a fun little scrap to watch. Entertaining fight. This was a good fight card. Entertaining fights. Mikhail Olasejczak absolutely made Mearshart look like a fool on the feet. Olasejczak's boxing is so nasty. I'm really hoping they give him a bump up in competition. We'll talk about that tomorrow. A bump up in competition because he's a good solid middleweight. Just his hand placement and Mearshart not great on the feet, but was not able to engage in any grappling whatsoever. And I think that's due to Mikhail's good footwork. And he was just able to put heavy hands on him super fast, mix up the combinations, and it was just a clinic. Put on a boxing clinic out there. Finished Mearshart in the first round. Good for Mikhail. Mearshart looked a little old out there. He probably one more, depending on how he does in that. Maybe time to hang it up. He looked like he didn't want to be in there, man. But still, Mikhail looked phenomenal out there. And he's a dang good boxer, man. He's good on the feet. I'm interested to see what he can do to guys in the top 15. So, moving on. A good scrap. A good women's strawweight scrap. Another bad pick by me, even though Andrade looked pretty good in the third. I thought that's what she would do to her the entire fight. But Lupi was just able to get in and out and land good, solid combinations on Andrade. Andrade looked old and slow out there. And Godinez looked somewhat quick and was able to put good combinations on her. Okay. Are we really doing this right now, dude? Are we really doing this right now? I'm making a video. Okay. Yeah. Loopy was able to throw some nice loopy shots, some nice combos, and just put a pace on her the entire fight. Andrade looked really slow. She used to be strong, explosive, athletic. She looked like she lost a couple steps out there last night. And good win for Godinez. A fun little scrap between these two women. Can't complain about this fight, especially for a women's fight. And Loopy looked pretty solid out there. I just, still strawweight, probably the best women's division to watch, especially right now. And yeah, yeah, it was. It's just hard to She just, she landed a nice jab to set up some other punches the entire fight. That was really about it. Andrade was slow. Head movement was awful. And was just unable to defend the good striking by Godinez and some solid handiwork. Moving on. Poor Roman Kopylov. I mean Chase Hooper. Alexander Hernandez starches Chase Hooper. I knew I should have picked Hernandez. I was feeling that, but I really thought the momentum and the work Hooper has been putting in lately, I really thought we would just see another improved version of Hooper out there. But he's pretty chinny, and Hernandez is explosive when he wants to be. Hernandez is not bad when he wants to be good, Yeah, Chase just he got his takedown stuffed. Brick wall takedown defense by Hernandez, and just had nothing for him on the feet. And as soon as Hernandez found an opening, piston straight to the face, knocked Chase Hooper out quickly, pretty, not viciously, but it was a good knockout. And Hooper needs to go back to the drawing board. Hernandez, though, man, I feel like he can do damage. I feel like he's not a bad lightweight contender, man. And I hope they give him some fun matchups because he's a pretty entertaining fighter. Moving on. Man, Edson did not look good. It may be time. And something is wrong with his eye. Look! look at that. What's wrong with it? Someone ask him, what's wrong with your eye, man? I feel bad. He couldn't see him. He couldn't see the shots coming, dog. But Jakar Close straight up outpaces and just outvolumes Edson. Edson looked slow out there, not as powerful. Closer fight, really, than you would think. But Jakar won that fight, was able to set him down in the second round. Looked explosive, looked pretty well-rounded out there. So, Jakar, give him a little step up in competition. I'd like to see what he does at the next level. I don't know if he does much. He's just pretty mid everywhere, and Edson looked really old and slow out there. I really thought Unk Barbozi would get it done Saturday night, but he didn't. And Jakar Close outvolumes him. Just was a little crisper on the feet, especially with his hands. Landed some nice leg kicks as well on Barbozi. And not a bad fight to watch at all. Jakar Close, W. Moving on. I didn't watch this fight. I'm going to be honest. The boys were over. I didn't watch this fight. I was talking. I didn't watch this fight. I know I got my pick wrong, but I didn't watch this fight. I did watch this one, not super close, but I was super surprised with the finish. Joseph Morales got there with that scramble and was able to put him in that triangle like that. Happy for him. It's a cool story, getting cut from the UFC, winning tough. Alibi looked really good during the season and such. And he looked fast and quick out there, so I think a lot of people were underestimating Joseph Morales going into this fight. Like I said, I didn't pay attention too well in this fight. But yeah, good on Joseph getting it done out there. Good on him. Nice to see. I think both these guys should be in the UFC, though. They're UFC caliber. And Joseph looked good. He looked like a guy out there. And good to see. Especially guys off tough usually aren't that good at all. So, good for the tough boys. Good for DC and Chael. But anyways, that's it for the video today, guys. I know this probably isn't the best video I've made. I'm not feeling that good today. I've been feeling kind of sick all day. So sorry. I just wanted to make sure and get this video out. Sorry if the energy wasn't there and such today. My picks were horrible. We're not going to talk about that. The main event was horrible. But besides that, it was a good card. Good for UFC fans. Good for the community. It was a fun Saturday night of fights. Please subscribe. Cino MMA. Hopefully I should be getting out 4 or 5 videos this week, if time allows it. I start back school next week, so I'm hoping I'm still able to get at least 3 videos out a week. But yeah, please subscribe. Please like. Past 100, I think I have like 120 views on my press conference video, which I honestly thought that video was horrible. I almost didn't post it. So thank y'all to anybody who watched. Please like and subscribe. More videos coming out. Hopefully better quality. But yeah, let me know what y'all think what y'all thought of the fights in the comments. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification icon so you don't ever miss an upload. Anyways, guys, that's it for me today. I will see y'all tomorrow with a fight making video for the next fight for the winners and losers of this card. Hope y'all have a good week. It's Monday, guys. Get up, get grinding. Praise the Lord. I'll see y'all.